What if Dumbledore never put on the ring? We know why he put it on. He wanted to say sorry to his sister, Ariana, who died in a duel he caused, to his mother, Kendra, who spent years keeping Ariana safe and was killed by her during one of her episodes, to his father, Percival, who went to Azkaban to protect the family and never came home, to Aberforth, his brother, still alive but estranged in ways that never fully healed. 60 years of guilt. But what if he didn't? What if Dumbledore put the ring down, destroyed it where it sat, and walked away with both hands intact? Well, that changes almost everything. So let's get into it. The Gaunt Shack is exactly as horrible as you'd expect. Rotting wood, dark magic soaked into every surface, the remnants of a family that destroyed itself from the inside. And there, in the ruins, is the ring. Dumbledore recognizes it the moment he sees it. He recognizes it as a Horcrux, a container for a piece of Voldemort's soul, hidden inside a family heirloom nobody would think to look for. And he recognizes it as something else entirely, something that reaches back 60 years and finds the part of him that never stopped grieving, the Resurrection Stone. His hand moves toward it, and then it stops. Because Albus Dumbledore has spent 60 years learning a single lesson, and that lesson is, when Albus Dumbledore wants something badly enough to act without thinking, people die. Grindelwald taught him that. Ariana's death taught him that. The road paved with good intentions and grand ambitions taught him that over and over, until there was no excuse left for not knowing it. He wants to put the ring on more than he has wanted almost anything in his adult life. He doesn't. He destroys it with a curse that scorches the stone to ash, and he walks back out of the Gaunt Shack with both hands whole. And the weight he carries doesn't get any lighter, but it doesn't kill him either. And this is where everything changes. Because back at Hogwarts, a conversation never happens. Snape never examines a blackened hand. Snape never tells Dumbledore he has a year to live. And Dumbledore never sits back in his chair and says, with the calm of a man who has already made his peace, "Certainly not. You must kill me." That conversation, the one that underpins every single event of the next 18 months, simply doesn't happen. Snape has no plan. Dumbledore has no arrangement. And somewhere in Malfoy Manor, Voldemort is about to assign a 16-year-old boy a mission he has absolutely no intention of letting him survive. Narcissa Malfoy comes to Spinner's End on a cold night, desperate in a way that only a mother facing the impossible can be desperate. Her son has been given a mission by Voldemort: kill Albus Dumbledore. And everyone in that room, Narcissa, Bellatrix, Snape, knows what it really is. It isn't an honor. It's a death sentence with extra steps. Voldemort doesn't expect Draco to succeed. He expects Draco to fail. And then he gets to punish the Malfoys for Lucius's mistakes at the Ministry. The unbreakable vow Narcissa asks for has 3 parts. Watch over Draco, protect him from harm, and, if Draco cannot complete the task, if he falters and if he fails, step in and finish it. Kill Dumbledore. In the real timeline, Snape agrees without blinking. Bellatrix fires question after question at him. Every suspicious, pointed question you'd want someone to ask. And Snape answers every single one of them with the calm of a man who has nothing to hide. Because he doesn't. He's already agreed to kill Dumbledore. The vow is practically a gift. Here, there is no prior arrangement, no agreement, no safety net. Snape sits across from Narcissa and Bellatrix, and the vow is laid out in front of him. And for the first time in his career as a double agent, the most dangerous career in the wizarding world, he genuinely doesn't know what to do. He could refuse, fight his way out. He'd probably survive. Snape is a better duelist than anyone in that room, and the element of surprise would do the rest. But refusing means exposing himself. Means Dumbledore loses his spy. Means Draco faces whatever Voldemort has planned for him completely alone. So Snape does what Snape always does. He takes the problem, locks it somewhere deep, and agrees to the vow. He tells himself he'll find another way. He always finds another way. I will do it. Bellatrix stares at him. She doesn't believe him. She never believes him. But the vow is made, and Snape walks home through the cold with an unbreakable vow pressing down on him like a stone, and no plan, and no Dumbledore who knows what's coming. He is, for the first time, completely alone with this. The year unfolds. Draco works on the vanishing cabinet in the room of requirement. Slowly, painfully, with the knowledge that failing means dying. Snape watches. Snape helps where he can. Snape tries to find a third option and doesn't find one. And then the cabinet works, and Death Eaters pour into Hogwarts, and it all comes to a head on the Astronomy Tower on a night in June. Draco gets Dumbledore wandless. That part is the same. And then Draco freezes. That part is the same too. In the real story, Snape arrives on that tower, and there is a plan. Dumbledore gives him the smallest nod. Barely perceptible, but enough. And Snape does what they agreed. It is a mercy killing dressed as a murder. And it works because both men know exactly what it is. Here, Snape arrives on the tower, and Dumbledore looks at him. There is no nod. There is just a wandless old man. A boy who can't pull the trigger. A mob of Death Eaters getting louder, and an unbreakable vow coiled around Snape's chest like a fist. Snape makes the only choice that buys everyone another day. He fires a stunning hex at full force. Not the killing curse, not an ending. And Dumbledore goes over the battlements and disappears into the dark below. And Snape disapparates with the Death Eaters before anyone has a moment to process what just happened. He has not killed Dumbledore. He has not saved him either. Dumbledore survives the fall. Of course he does. He's Albus Dumbledore. And he had had just enough warning to slow his descent before he hit the ground. He is bruised and shaken and wandless and furious, but he is alive. And everything else is catastrophic. To Voldemort, Snape is a loyalist who lost his nerve at the critical moment. To the Order, Snape is a Death Eater who attacked the headmaster and fled. To Draco, Snape is the only reason he's still breathing. Not that Draco can tell anyone that. Snape is compromised on every side. Trusted by nobody. Hunted by both. He sends Dumbledore a single line through back channels, using a method only the two of them know. The mission stands. Tell me what you need. Here is what changes when Dumbledore stays alive. Literally everything. He is not operating through proxies anymore. He's not handing 3 teenagers a list of Horcruxes and sending them into a tent in the wilderness with a radio and a hope. He is there, directing, hunting, using 60 years of knowledge and the most formidable magical mind of the age to do what he'd been doing anyway, but faster, better, with someone actually in charge. The locket falls. The cup falls. The diadem falls. Draco and his family are quietly extracted from Voldemort's orbit. Dumbledore engineers it at personal risk, knowing exactly what it costs and paying it anyway. Narcissa had made a vow to protect her son. Dumbledore is now the reason that vow didn't get her son killed. Through it all, Snape feeds information from the shadows. Barely trusted. Never thanked. Still there. But there's one problem that none of this solves. The Elder Wand. In the real timeline, Dumbledore's plan was elegant in its simplicity. Have Snape kill him in an agreed mercy killing. And because Dumbledore accepted death willingly, he would not be conquered, and the wand's power chain would die with him. Voldemort would steal it from a tomb and wonder why it didn't work. Here, Dumbledore is alive, still holding the Elder Wand, and Voldemort knows it. There is no clean way to end the wand's power while Dumbledore is actively breathing. You cannot choose to be conquered while someone is trying to conquer you. The longer the war goes on, the greater the risk that Voldemort finds a way to defeat Dumbledore directly and claim the most powerful wand in history with its full power intact. Dumbledore knows this. He has known it since the tower. It sits in the back of every plan he makes. A storm cloud that never quite breaks. With nearly every Horcrux destroyed, they arrive at the truth that was always waiting. Harry is a Horcrux. He has been since the night Voldemort killed his parents. A piece of Voldemort's soul, fragmented by years of murder and dark magic, latched onto the only living thing in that room in Godric's Hollow. It has lived inside Harry ever since. Invisible, unintended, and it has to be destroyed. In the real story, Harry finds this out alone, from a dead man's memories, in a pensieve, in an empty office. He walks into the forest by himself in the dark and dies without saying goodbye to anyone. Here, Dumbledore is alive, and Dumbledore has to look Harry in the face and say it. He doesn't dress it up. He doesn't hide it behind theory or prophecy or the greater good. He sits across from Harry in the ruined shell of what was once his office and tells him the truth plainly, the way you tell someone something when you have run out of ways to delay it. There is a piece of Voldemort's soul inside you, Harry. It has been there since you were 1 year old, and it must be destroyed. Harry is very still, and the only way to destroy it, Voldemort must be the one to cast the curse, and you must not resist it. Dumbledore looks at him. I will be there. If you choose it, I will be the one to bring you back. If there is a way back. But I cannot make this choice for you. I could not then. I cannot now. Harry thinks about Ginny, about Ron and Hermione, about a life he has been fighting toward since he was 11 years old, about the people who will never be safe as long as any piece of Voldemort survives. He nods. He walks into the forest. What happens in the forest is the same, in the mechanics of it. Voldemort casts the killing curse. The Horcrux inside Harry is destroyed. Harry himself is not. He wakes at King's Cross, and it is Lily who is there. Not Dumbledore, not a vision of what might have been. His mother, looking exactly as she did in every photograph, in every memory, standing in the white light of a place between living and dying. She tells him he has done enough. She tells him to go back. So he does. Harry returns. Voldemort is mortal. Every Horcrux is gone. But the Elder Wand problem is still alive. And this is where Dumbledore does the last difficult thing. Voldemort, in his fury, turns on Dumbledore directly. He knows the wand isn't performing the way it should. He knows someone else must hold its allegiance. He comes to take it the only way the wand recognizes, by force. And Dumbledore lets him. He allows himself to be disarmed, genuinely disarmed. The wand taken by force, mastery transferred. He does it deliberately, because a defeated Dumbledore is still alive, and a Dumbledore who tries to hold the wand against Voldemort risks losing in a way he can't recover from. Mastery passes to Voldemort, and then Harry steps forward. Because Harry took Voldemort's wand by force at Malfoy Manor, physically wrestled it away in the chaos of the escape. The wand in Voldemort's hand knows its master's conqueror. When Voldemort raises it against Harry, it refuses. The curse rebounds. Voldemort dies. Finally. Completely. With no Horcruxes left to anchor him. Nothing survives. It is over. In the weeks that follow, the Wizarding world starts the long work of understanding what it survived. Snape reemerges from the shadows. Harry goes back to Hogwarts. Draco goes home. The dead are mourned. And Dumbledore sits in his office, repaired now. The portrait's back on the walls. Fawkes on his perch, and looks at his hands. Both of them, whole, uncursed. He thinks about the ring, about the shack, about the moment his hand stopped moving. He thinks about Ariana, and Kendra, and Percival, and Aberforth, and the apology he never got to make, and whether he will ever stop needing to make it. The ring is gone. The war is won. Everyone he was fighting for is alive. If you enjoyed this one, I've got another video you'll want to watch next. What if Snape had survived the Deathly Hallows? Link on screen right now.